First, if you're watching this, remember it's dated. That means that the information I have could be outdated by the time you see it. Second, this isn't going to be about rights and politics and Tommy J and the Declaration of Independence. This is about the way things are and what's a reasonable expectation and action. When it comes to motorcycling, most of us just want to ride. To get out there and control our machine, our journey, our destiny. Unfortunately, it seems that America occasionally loves a buzzkill, and there are folks out there looking to get their hands on your handlebars. It may be about pipes or lights or helmets and rights, but there are rules out there, and often we don't know what we can or can't do. This is because different states have different laws as far as motorcycles go. For example, my state, Idaho, we didn't require a motorcycle endorsement until 1988. That's right, you didn't need a special endorsement to ride a motorcycle. There was no test. All you needed was a driver's license. Likewise, up here, if it's electric, well, reading state law sure makes it look like you don't need an endorsement. As long as it's electric, or under 50 cc, it doesn't go 30 miles an hour, who cares? Have at it! If you move to a different state, it pays to know what laws are different than your own, so you can stay in compliance with your new home state's laws and codes. In fact, your bike might come over and they'll say, we can't register that, it's non-compliant. But who wants to move? Let's move on your motorcycle instead. In the US, we have a thing called reciprocity. It means that when traveling, if you or your bike cross a state line, that next state over respects your license and registration. This is an interstate commerce issue. If Idaho required Utah drivers to get an Idaho license before driving in Idaho, imagine the hassle. Folks would be all gummed up trying to get the appropriate licenses for trips. In the East, that would mean needing a new endorsement at each state line you cross. Reciprocity is one of the reasons the federal government gets involved in these kinds of issues. Imagine going through customs every time you drove that truckload of Easter bunnies across the state line. Chocolate Easter bunnies. That's why truckers have a CDL. The requirements for a commercial driver's license come directly from Washington, D.C. All states comply to the same standards, and theoretically, all truck drivers operate to the same standard. Yeah, it's part of interstate commerce, and that's where the federal government gets involved. This is also where things can get hinky for riders. California allows lane splitting or lane sharing, meaning you can pass between two stopped or slow-moving cars. Having split lanes as a young man, as soon as I got to Idaho, I called the state police and asked, "Can I split lanes?" The answer was, "No, we call that reckless driving around here." Bummer. See, my license travels over the line here, but vehicle codes don't. Again, this is confusing stuff. Due to reciprocity, my license allows me to drive in another state, but I have to obey their traffic laws while on their turf. In Cali, split. Outside, get a ticket. Same with helmets. If you come from a voluntary helmet state and enter one where it's mandatory, well, dude, you just have to put on the lid. Again, it's tricky. This is about moving violations like speeding or right turn on red or following distance. If you have loud pipes, although an officer might get mad, generally they have no way enforcing their state code. Why? Because you run what you brung. Your registration will cover your bike's physical condition. That's not to say, if you've got some egregious, dangerous issue and it could be a danger to yourself or others, they won't stop you and get it fixed. It means that in your home state, if you have ape hangers, the next state over won't give you a fix-it ticket, but they can still hassle the hell out of you. If you go to the AmericanMotorcyclist.com site and look under Rights, you'll find a tab called State Laws. It'll give you a good look at how rules vary from state to state. The rule of thumb here is simple. When crossing state lines, keep your registration and license current. Obey the traffic laws of that state. Don't assume that you can do everything that you're used to doing at home. If you don't know, play it safe. If you get pulled over, be polite. Ask about the law. Apologize for not knowing. Ask if there's anything else particular you should be careful about. I was driving a rental car in Missouri once and got pulled over. The officer took one look at my Idaho license and he said, "Oh, bless your heart, we don't do that here." He let me off with a warning. Why? Because I was polite and compliant. I was learning, not fighting the man. On that note, never say that's totally bogus, your laws suck, and you're just sticking it to a tourist. Confrontation isn't a good idea, especially if your bail bondsman is 2 states away. Will things always play the same? Of course not. This is just like every other motorcycling situation. It's completely unique. Yeah, you might end up with your bike being impounded because guess what? You're not endorsed anywhere. Or you might get that one officer who's having a bad day and looking to take it out on someone. Odds are Johnny Law is not going to notice you unless you stand out. By speeding or wheeling or splitting in a non-splitting state, use your head. You're on a bike and you're not looking for trouble. Just go out and have a good time. That's it for me. Be safe. Do you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, man, because you're the man, and the man hates freedom, man. You hate me. You're some kind of fascist bastard. Don't you? You teased me, bro. You teased me.